Welcome to Rockland CSL. I am Rev Melissa. Today is Pride Day, so I want to start off. I have my flag here, and you'll know I love to coordinate, so you'll see how it matches my t-shirt. I love the coordination. So happy Pride Day. We're sending love and light to all of our LGBTQ plus siblings who are out there today for Pride Day and also for other reasons that I will get into soon. So we are wrapping up our theme for June, which is revision body tone. So we've been on this journey of aligning our feeling tone and our body tone, right? So just as a recap, we started the month off with the sacred site. And where is the sacred site? Right here, right? This temple, each one of us is the site, the sacred site of God, right? And I love the way Ernest Holmes puts it. He says, our body is part of the kingdom of God. Therefore, it is a spiritual pattern at the center of it. Let's not forget that, right? We are a sacred site of the divine. And then we explored the one body, right? The one body. And the quote that I've been saying since that sermon, we are members of one body. We are responsible for each other. We are members of one body, and we are responsible for each other. And then last Sunday, Reverend Cynthia Epps shared the body remembers with the history of Juneteenth and how we all have a guiding light, right? And that guiding light can lead us into forgiveness and healing. And now we're at the last Sunday in June, and the message today is the body of truth. So I have to confess, y'all, I had a totally different sermon plan at the beginning of the week. Totally different. And then Friday happened. And everything changed, right? The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. And I have to say, I felt angry and disgusted. That's how I felt. And sometimes as ministers, we believe that we can't feel our true feelings, but it's important that we do because we have to move through it, right? We have to clear the channel again so that we can show up and be with each other in a space of love. So I had to do my work. I had to work out some things, right? And we all do. And we get to do that together as a community of love, as a community of joy. So I want to share, yesterday, some of us was at Kristen's beautiful home. Thank you, Kristen, again, for opening your beautiful home to us. Beautiful backyard is a lake, y'all, okay? It was spectacular. And my girls came and we had a wonderful time. It was a wonderful retrieve for me personally. So on the way back home, my daughter Zola says to me, Mommy, I'm going to have to delete all the information I have on my apps that I use to track my period. She said, now I have to find a secret way to keep track of it because that data could be used against me if I missed a month or two based on what state I live in. My 15-year-old daughter is thinking about how her body is being surveilled, how data of her cycle can be used as evidence against her future self, how the choices she makes with her body can be criminalized. So as I wrote this week's newsletter, I did my best, y'all. I did my best as a minister to keep my political beliefs off the pulpit, right? That's what I wrote in the newsletter. And I also wrote that the Supreme Court's decision is more than greater than politics. This is about bodily autonomy, reproductive equality, and women and girls' choice and rights. That is what this is about. This is about freedom. This is about freedom. So I want to share a story that was posted by one of my seminary alums about his wife's plant. So her name is Doris. And Doris has a plant that she literally has had for more than 20 years. And this plant rarely ever blooms. She placed the plant outside about a month ago to get some sun and fresh air. And the next day, she noticed that the leaves got burnt. She immediately brought it inside, concerned over maybe having caused it irreparable damage. She trimmed the leaves back, cutting away the burnt places, and hoped for the best. A couple of weeks passed, and one morning she went to water it, and to her surprise, it was blooming. She immediately looked online and found that the truth was this plant needed stress in order to bloom. In fact, in the 20 years it had hardly ever bloomed, it had been too comfortable. Nothing pushed it to grow and change, so it didn't. The discomfort of the stress birthed something new. So I too went online to look up this plant, and I learned that this plant is called the fire poppy. It's a beautiful plant when it blooms. And it belongs to a group of plants known as fire followers. Those that use the heat, the smoke, and the charred soil as a signal to sprout. Their seeds lie dormant for years. Then the fire hits and it sends a message to begin to germinate. So if this Supreme Court decision is not a message to each one of us that it is time to germinate, I really don't know what other message we need. The body of truth within the fire poppy burst forth from the fire. The fire sends a message that it is time to begin germination. The fire wakes us up from our comfort zone. We are too comfortable. We're too comfortable with not sharing our gifts. We're too comfortable with not standing in love. We're too comfortable with not calling out what is not the truth. The truth that lies within the body of the fire poppy is the same truth that lies within each one of us. It's time that we start to be fire followers, because there is a fire. There is a fire. The germination has begun. The truth that lies within the body of you and of me is our light. We are the one body. We each have a unique light to shine in the world. What is germinating within you? Jan said in her meditation, what is yours to do? It all counts. Sometimes I think we might feel like we have to do something grand on a big scale. It's not a matter of big or small. It's a matter of truth with a capital T. There's a Bible verse, Matthew 7:16-19. By their fruit, you will recognize them. Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. And Ernest Holmes puts it this way, that same text. We are to know the truth by its fruits. The invisible things of God are manifested through the visible. And unless the invisible thought and desire of man is in line with truth with a capital T, his acts will fall into error. While we are told not to judge, we are clearly warned not to fall under the illusion of accepting the false for the truth. And if you want to look this up, Science of Mind text, page 436. Check it out for yourself. The overturning of Roe v. Wade is the bearing of bad fruit. It reveals the invisible thought and desire of man. In this case, the Supreme Court, its acts have fallen into error because it is not in alignment with the body of truth, the truth of free will that is our God-given right. I repeat, Ernest Holmes wrote, we are clearly warned not to fall under the illusion of accepting false for the true. Do not fall under the illusion of accepting the false for the true. Do not give up. Do not believe that this is the end. This is a new beginning. There is a fire, friends, that is seeking to express something new, something more, something expansive. And I know that as love. I know that as the light. Many of us have been asleep. We have. We've been lulled back to sleep by the illusion that everything is fine. Nothing to do here, right? We've been afraid to move from our comfort zone, accepting the false for the truth. There is a fire. There is a fire, and it is time for us to bloom. It is time for us to bloom. The body of truth for women and girls is the right to bodily autonomy and reproductive equality through the power of freedom of choice. The seed of freedom is planted within us. There is a fire. What is germinating within you? What is time to burst, to blossom, to move you from your comfort zone, to move us from our comfort zone, to move me from my comfort zone? There is a fire. Can you feel the heat? Can you feel the heat? What seed is germinating within you? What truth is seeking to burst forth, to be birthed? The discomfort of stress births something new. Like the fire poppy is showing us, nature always shows us the way. Always shows us the way. And what it is showing us is not new. is history. The history of this country. The 6 justices have clearly distorted the meaning of supreme by overturning Roe v. Wade, which can lead to a path to overturn other human rights. Let's not be asleep on this. We are celebrating Pride Day today. It ain't just about flags and some colors, y'all. We celebrate the LGBTQ plus community and their right to live as their body of truth. Did y'all not read what Justice Clarence Thomas wrote? He said, in future cases, we should reconsider all of this court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Oberfeld. I might be pronouncing that wrong. These cases that he cited gave rights to contraceptive access, same-sex consensual relations, and marriage equality. Overturning access to contraceptives, legislating who we can be in relationship with and who we get to marry. It wasn't that long ago, y'all, that we did not have that right. There is a fire. There is a fire. Some say, oh, that will never happen. We'll never go back to people not being able to marry who they want to marry. We'll never go back to a point where women won't have access to contraceptives. We'll never go back. That won't happen. Let me remind you what happened on June 24th, 2022. The US Supreme Court overturned the January 22nd, 1973 ruling of Roe v. Wade that held that the Constitution protected a woman's right to an abortion. The discomfort of the stress births something new. That is not new. That is not new. It is time that we recognize that it is not new. That is old stuff, old strategy, old separation. That which is new is seeking to come through each one of us, like the fire poppy. There is a fire. What is germinating within you? Ernest Holmes also writes, as the Christ awakens, the divine spark shot from central fires of the universal flame is able to warm other souls by the radiance of its own self-unfoldment. Is your soul getting warm? Can you feel the fire? Because there's a fire, y'all. A fire that is burning away the misconceptions, the lies about these United States. And really, as far as I'm concerned, these un-United States of America. We are about to have free states and non-free states. Does that sound familiar? States where women have ownership of their body and states where they don't. Does that sound familiar? This is not new. There is a fire that is bringing the illusion out of the darkness and into the light. we can see the fruit of extreme conservatism, privilege, and white supremacy. The bad fruit of the lowest vibration of conservatism. It is rotten and it is poison. And let me be clear, this is not about othering. It is about calling a thing a thing. Ernest Holmes writes in Science of Mind text, we don't make believe that we're not sick. We pray and we take the medication. We treat and we move our feet. We deny the denial by calling it out and knowing the truth of it. To deny the state means to declare or believe what is true is not true. It has no power. It is not part of the body of truth. It is not the truth with a capital T. We deny and we get into good trouble, as civil rights leader John Lewis demonstrated. And the truth is, the body of truth always prevails. There is a fire. The discomfort of the stress births something new. So I know that there is a collective, a growing, expanded collective consciousness of freedom that is bursting forth, especially in our young people. It is blooming and it will create something new through the highest vibration of freedom and choice. What I know as the body of truth is that darkness does not have a chance when we choose light, love, and liberty. Doesn't have a chance when we choose love, light, and liberty. With sorrow for this court, but more for the millions of American women who have today lost a fundamental constitutional protection, we dissent. That was written by Justices Sonia, Stephen, and Elena. And guess what, y'all? I dissent too, because there is a fire. There is a fire, and the body of truth is a path forward. It is a movement of oneness. The body of truth respects each other's divine divinity as the one body, as a sacred site. This body remembers the truth. This body remembers the gift that we each have been given to uniquely express love in the world. There is a fire, and we must use our supreme love power to dissent. We must know that supreme truth, justice will prevail. This may feel like some dark times, yes, but we have to remember, we are the ones that know. We are the ones that know the body of truth. We must remember the seed that is germinating and blooming within each one of us. It's time for it to come out, to show itself, to participate, to get into some good trouble. We need your gifts. We need your words. We need your love power. So let's not lose ourselves in the illusion. And we lose ourselves in the illusion by watching and traumatizing ourselves with the news. It's so easy to get caught up in the illusion by spending hours and hours and hours in the illusion. there is a fire. There is a divine spark, the universal flame that is ignited as you. Your gifts are truth. Please allow them to bloom, to be seen, to be used. Oneness is truth. Love and dissent go hand in hand. Oneness and autonomy goes hand in hand. Peace and protest goes hand in hand. These things can coexist. So let's remember that darkness does not have a chance when we choose light, love, and liberty, no matter what. No matter what.